All right, so the next thing that we want to look at, and this is a biggie, the difference quotient. We are going to use the difference quotient when we make the connection between limits and derivatives. All right? In this class, I am not going to give you any formulas. This is Calc 1. This is prepping you for Calc 2 and these STEM fields. Because of that, I expect you to know these basics. This Calc 1 is kind of like preparation math, right? We're going to cover all the basics, and then in Calc 2 and Calc 3, you're going to take all of these basics and actually apply them and use them. But Calc 1 is preparation math, right? It's kind of like the prereq of what you actually are going to need to use calculus for. So with the difference quotient, I'm not going to give this to you. You have to know that this is f of x plus h minus f of x over h. Right? So remember, the difference quotient, if I'm looking at this, here's what this actually means. If I have a graph, all right, and it's just whatever it is from here to here, just making stuff up at this point. What we're actually saying is this difference quotient is the slope of your secant line. And remember, a secant cuts through the graph. So if you have a point, right, whatever your point is down here, you come down here, this is x. This, if I add an additional h to it, is x plus h, because some value, h, I don't know what it is, it's whatever, to get there. That means my output for this one is f of x. My output for this is f of x plus h. And this is how the difference quotient is looked at, because it's the slope of a secant line. So if you take your x's, or pardon me, the y's over the x's, so my slope is f of x plus h minus f of x over, and then my slope here, I've got x plus h minus that x. Positive x and negative x cancel out. That's how you actually derive the difference quotient. I'm sure you guys went through that when you were in pre-calc or algebra, college algebra, whatever it was that you took before this, right? The prereq to get in here. So you have that difference quotient. Now, here's a little tip for you. When we're talking about the difference quotient, our goal is to get the h so it is not multiplied in the denominator. You can have the h as something plus h or minus h, but it can't be multiplied. All right? And frankly, the whole purpose of doing that is so that when we take the limit in order to make a derivative that's going to make an impact for us at that time. So when you practice your difference quotient, that's just the rule of thumb we go with. All right? So for now, just accept it and work with me. I promise. Once we take our difference quotient and we take limits to it, it's gonna mesh together for you. But right now we're practicing the algebra that it takes in order to pull off the limit. Algebra makes an impact everywhere. So if you can do your algebra, you can do calculus no problem at all. Algebra is always a stumbling block for calculus. So if you can do your algebra, then you've got your calculus. Calculus is easy. So here we go with example 9a. Find the difference quotient for this function. F of x is equal to 3x squared minus x. All right. So Our difference quotient is f of x plus h. Means I'm taking x plus h and plugging that in. Then I'm going to subtract just my straight up function and put that all over h. So a difference quotient is that composition of functions within. So if I have my difference quotient, I have 3x plus h squared minus x plus h, right? It's this first component. Then I'm going to change up colors just so you can see the difference. I'm going to go purple on it. So then this is now minus, and then my f of x, which is just my straight up function. I'm subtracting that whole thing, so it needs to be in parentheses. And then that's all over h. I'm going to scoot this up so we can see it better. Do you see that? Okay, now algebra. We just have a little algebra to do. This is a binomial, so use your shortcut. Square the first term, multiply them together by 2, and square the last term. And then distribute that negative, so minus x minus h. Distribute this negative, minus a 3x squared plus x. This is all over h. All right? Most things to do with the difference quotient is just the algebra that gets there. Distribute this 3. 3x squared plus 6xh plus a 3h squared minus x minus h minus 3x squared plus x all over h. Now clean it up. Plus 3x squared minus 3x squared cancels. Negative x, positive x cancels. All right, we don't have any other like terms. So let's see what we've got. 6xh plus 3h squared minus h. I'm going to scoot it up a little. Look at what the top has. Yeah, factor out that h, right? And the beauty of that, because our goal is to get this h from being multiplied in that denominator, that was our goal, right? So that h cancels out. I can't have that h left over by itself down there. So whenever I look at my difference quotient, I have 6x plus 3h minus 1. Your algebra is the key, right? Your algebra is the key. Yeah, practice those difference quotients. Now you did this in pre-calculus, so this is just reviewing, but it's good to review because we're definitely going to be using this. All right.